Hello everyone, we are back once again. I'm Tim, technician here with Golf Cart Garage. We do this every week. It is Thursday, March the 3rd, noon Central Standard Time. We're going to go through some questions. We're going to go through some emails and see if we can help some people out with golf cart related questions. See if we can save some money for some people. We may even talk to some live participants in the chat. So anybody watching in the live chat, type in what kind of golf cart you have in the chat, and we'll talk about it when I get over there to look at that after we answer these questions, after we answer the regular questions. Okay, the garage is open, so let's get started. We'll go to question 1. I have a club car charger with a handle on it that I purchased in 2017 from a 2018 club car golf cart. I just noticed a flashing orange triangle at the top of the light bar. So I disconnected the charge, then plugged it back in. Seems to be working okay. Should I be concerned? I wouldn't be concerned. That the flashing orange light is probably going to be a fault code, that's particular to your specific charger or your specific electrical system in your car. So if you can't find the fault code, what I would do, I would assume that flashing orange could mean something like low voltage, could mean something as simple as that the charging cycle was interrupted while the car was on charge, especially since you unplugged it and you plugged it back in and you said everything seems to be fine. That could be what it was, that your charging cycle may have been interrupted. And so if that's the case, then it may have cleared up. So I just keep an eye on it, make sure your car's still charging correctly, drive your car and see if it still clears up. If it comes back, then we talk about it again. But but in the meantime, try to figure out what the orange triangle flashing is for your particular system. It could, whatever that fault code is. Let's see, number 2. I have a 2016 Yamaha with a sleek line enclosure that has no rear suspension, keeps bottoming out. Any suggestions? I actually remember speaking with this gentleman this week on his issue. A sleek line enclosure is one of those hard wall cab enclosures with doors and a top. It adds a lot of weight. It adds about 250 pounds to the car. Now, a Yamaha doesn't use leaf springs like Club Car and EZGO do. They use coilover springs. So anytime you start adding a lot of weight to a Yamaha, they tend to be a little wobbly, especially when you add a lot of weight. So that's why they make heavy-duty coil springs for Yamaha springs. So that's what the solution for this man's problem is. He was just going to have to add some either heavy-duty shocks with heavy-duty coilover springs, or just replace his coilover springs on his shocks with some heavy-duty ones, which we sell here at Golf Cart Garage. All right, let's see. Number 3. Golf cart speeds slower than normal. I replaced the batteries a few months ago, but it seems like the cart isn't going very fast compared to other carts on the course. Well, I always like to eliminate batteries as the issue with any type of symptom, like I've said before. And since you've already done that, we're assuming the newer batteries, then it depends on the make and model and year of your cart. I don't have that information, but it's going to most likely be, I would want to go to the potentiometer next. It could be 0 to 5K potentiometer, it could be a V-Glide, could be an ITS, depending on which car you have. But that's where I would want to check next and make sure that that's sending the correct signal to your controller. Number 4. Now this is from Kathy B. I have asked multiple times about a whiny noise coming from underneath my cart. Everyone has an opinion, but no one wants to fix it. I also want my cart to go a tad faster. Can you help? Well, again, I need make, model, and year of your cart. Okay, first of all, but whiny noise could be a lot of different things. I've heard golf carts that had a whiny noise before in the past. There's some certain Yamahas where the whiny noise was coming from the controller. Actually, when you would touch on the gas, it would be a high-pitched noise that would come from the controller. Other than that, it could be a brake squealing. It could be a lot of different things. I would need to know. I'd have more questions. So And I want to know if anyone has done any work, or did the whining noise just start recently, or has it always been that way? I would have questions like that. And of course we can make your cart faster depending on what model and year it is. We have several parts that we can do that with. All right, let's see. Number 5. What does the blue light that says AC present mean on a golf cart charger? Well, that blue light that says AC present, that means that all that means is that your wall outlet is hot. It means your wall outlet's good. Like where you've got your charger plugged into the wall, that's the AC. So it means that your charger is reading that it has AC voltage. If you unplug it from the wall, you'll see that blue light goes out. So that's just to tell you that your wall outlet's hot and that a circuit breaker's not blown or anything, because a lot of people think their charger's broke sometimes because their golf cart won't charge, and it turns out their wall outlet's not hot. So they start putting that blue light on some chargers, some smart chargers, and that helps you, figure out without checking. You see that blue light on, your circuit breaker's not popping. That's all it is. All right, number 6. This is from Alberto S. My 2006 Yamaha Drive has a noise coming from the differential. The bearings, the outside bearings are good. I used a rubber bump on the motor, and I have 2 motors for it, a high speed and the original that came with it, but the noise is still there. Please help. Well, what I would want to do, since you have 2 motors and you're telling me the noise is still there, I would want to eliminate, first of all, I'd want to eliminate the rubber bump. I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about this little rubber thing that slides inside the motor coupler, and you slide it all the way in, and then that way when you push it onto the motor, the input shaft touches on a rubber bump stop, so to stop any kind of vibrations or anything like that may be happening in that connection. Well, what I would want to do is eliminate the motors as making the noise, and the way that I would do that is eliminate the rubber bump stop just for testing purposes. Take the rubber bump stop out, put the motor on, run it, and see if your noise goes away. Because what's happening sometimes is that rubber bump, the input shaft presses on it, and that presses on the armature. That puts a little pressure on the armature, which puts pressure on that end bearing in the motor. That could be, I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm saying I'd want to eliminate that first before we start moving to the noise coming from the differential itself. Like it could be input shaft bearings that make noise also. So I'd want to eliminate the motors, and the only thing that you're doing that's the same on both those motors is that bump stop. So I'd want to take that out and see if it changes anything. Okay, number 7. This is from Joey K. If I'm doing the 𝗀𝐵𝐶 bypass on my 2008 Club Car Precedent to install a new smart charger, is there any reason I need to keep the 𝗀𝐵𝐶 in the cart, or can I remove it? Now, if you're doing a full 𝗀𝐵𝐶 bypass, is what they call it, then you can remove it. There's no reason why you need it. Now, I want to make sure that you understand, you only need to bypass the 𝗀𝐵𝐶 to use your smart charger if your new charger is going to be using the stock plug, and you're going to plug it in just like your old charger was doing. If you're going to be using your new charger that's hooked directly to the battery pack, then you don't need to bypass the 𝗀𝐵𝐶. You only need to bypass it if you're going to go through the normal charging receptacle. Just want to make sure you understood that part of it, because the normal charging receptacle goes through the 𝗀𝐵𝐶, so it wouldn't work unless the 𝗀𝐵𝐶 was bypassed. All right, number 9. Wait a minute, I think I might have missed one. Let me go back to number 8 here. Yeah, number 8, I'm sorry. This is from Daryl. I have a 2005 electric TXT 36 volt. I think I might have a bad speed controller. When I put my meter on the batteries, I got 37 volts. When I put my meter on the cables going to the speed controller, I get 37 volts. When I put my meter on the motor, I only get 15 volts, and the car only goes about 5 miles an hour. On the controller, it says for 95 and up. Okay, I also remember speaking with Daryl this past week on this issue, and what he's going to do is what I always say. I want to eliminate any batteries as being the issue first. So he's going to do load test, the driving load test on each one of his batteries first, and if that's not it, then everything, all the voltage readings and everything that he was saying, it's most likely going to come back that he did have a controller issue, but I haven't heard from him, so I'm not really sure yet at this point. Now, number 9. We have a PowerWise golf cart charger for our EZGO golf cart. We have replaced the motherboard and fuse, so now it is working again. The problem is it doesn't shut off and keeps buzzing after 15 hours. We have changed the time to 1 hour and the same result. The battery gauge stays between 3 and 4 amps after the designated time. The charger does not shut off. Do you have any ideas to fix the problem with the charger not shutting off? Okay, let me make sure you understand something on an EZGO PowerWise charger. It could take, if your battery, depending on your battery pack condition, it could take 15 to 16 hours before it shuts off. So what I would want to know is, what is the voltage at the 15-hour mark? Like, at the 15-hour mark, put your meter on your battery pack, and I'd like to know what the voltage is, because we're talking about a 36-volt car, so your voltage needs to be as high as 46 to 48 volts before that charger is going to shut off. Also, a bad battery can cause your charger not to shut off. So I would want battery readings across the board here and have a lot of battery readings just to make sure, because if you replace the motherboard, that's where the timer is all electronically located in the motherboard. So it's and I don't understand what you meant by you changed the time to 1 hour, because you can't change the time on a PowerWise charger. So I'm not sure exactly what you meant there, but I would want some battery readings at the end of the charge cycle, like at the 15-hour mark. Question number 10. I bought a circuit board for my PowerWise charger. Now it's boiling out all the water in the batteries. Is there a way to turn it down? No, there's no. That's what I was just saying with the previous question. There's not a way to turn it down. So just changing the circuit board is not going to cause you to all of a sudden be boiling out your water. How long was your charger down for, is what I would ask. Like, was it down for a long period of time where your battery sat there and did not charge? Because if so, it may take a little bit. You may take a couple of tries before you get your batteries back to a normal state. Now, if it's boiling all the water out of your batteries, then I'm going to want to know battery ratings too, because you could definitely have a battery issue that could be causing all your symptoms. Okay, number 11 from Douglas. Hi Tim, I'm seriously considered purchasing an older EZGO cart from a friend. It's probably from the 90s. It has a few issues, but I want to ask you about something that could be a deal breaker. It has a sloppiness in the steering, which I would describe as maybe up to 10 degrees or so. Is that an easy fix or a major issue? Well, you can get a new steering rack. I mean, there's going to be several places in an older EZGO where slack in the steering can develop. One of them is in the steering rack. So sometimes this is a two-person job to figure out all the different places, because someone needs to sit in the cart and start moving that steering wheel while someone's looking underneath the front of the cart and watching for things that are moving that aren't supposed to be moving. There's not supposed to be anything moving when you turn the steering wheel except for the tires. They're supposed to turn like that, left and right as you turn the steering wheel. But if you've got a lot of tie rod end connections, that on a joint where that's moving before the tire starts moving, every one of those places creates slack, and eventually you get to the point where, like you said, you got 10 degrees or more of slack. So there may be several spots in the entire steering system that you may have to replace parts in order to take up the slack. But it is possible. Number 12 is from Stacy. Hi Tim, I have 2 carts on the industrial site and want to make where lights come on when started and go off when not. Do you know what I need to make this happen? I don't know of any golf cart that actually does that, that the lights come on when it starts up, or when you, and then they go out when you turn the key. I understand automobiles do that when you got it in the auto setting, but I don't know of a golf cart that does that. They all have a separate switch. Now, if we're talking about gas cars on your industrial site, then yeah, I could see how you could do it, because you could take 12 volts for your lights right off the key. So when you turn the key on, your lights are going to come on. When you turn the key off, the lights go out. But if it's an electric car, then you're going to have to get a voltage reducer involved. It's going to be something that you're going to have to design yourself in order to get 12 volts. And the easiest way would be just to have a separate switch. Honestly, I'm not sure how you would do that. You might have to think about that one for a while, because but if like I said, if it's gas cars, then you can take 12 volts off the key. Number 13. This is from Phil. I have a 2012 EZGO 4-cycle engine with 12 volt starter generator. The negative battery cable gets really hot with the generator installed now. What could be causing this? This is what I would want to do for that issue. First of all, obviously check connections. You make sure you don't have any loose connections there. But I'd want to crank the car in neutral and see what's happening with the charging system. Like, I don't understand why that negative cable should be getting that hot unless there was something crazy coming out of the starter generator to go into the battery. So put a voltmeter on the battery while the engine's running in neutral and see how many volts you're getting. You should only be getting around 14 point something volts with the engine running. If you're getting something crazy, then shut it off and don't do it anymore, because there's an issue there somewhere. You should only be getting about 14 volts or so. Somewhere in the 14s would be plenty, would be normal. Remember, if there's any live chatters watching, type in the kind of golf cart you drive, put it in the chat, and I'll talk about it here in a few minutes. Number 14. This is from Murray. I have a 94 36 volt club car. I need to replace the power red cable that runs from the shifter to the motor. Do you know what I need to order? I know what you're talking about. It's just a regular 6-gauge cable that runs from your forward and reverse shift to the motor. You might be able to find that somewhere, but in a car that old, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to find that already made up. What most people would do is that they would just get a 6-gauge cable, and then they would crimp the correct ends onto it. Like, I understand on the cable that you're talking to, one end is different than the other. Like, one end has a really small hole that hooks to the forward and reverse lever, and then the other end is a 5/16 eyelet that hooks to the motor. So most people would just get a 5/16 eyelet, and whatever that little one is, you get that too, and just crimp it onto a red 6-gauge cable and be done with it. In other words, they'd make it themselves. But like I said, you might be able to find one. You might be able to find a golf cart boneyard somewhere where there's one sitting out in the pasture, and you can go rob it from that cart. Let's see here, number 15. This is from Trey. Hi, Golf Cart Garage. Do you have the motor I'm needing to speed up my cart? Club Car 48 volt. Well, I'm sure we do, Trey. Go to golfcartgarage.com and look at our motors, and you need to know one thing: your club car. What kind of electrical system is in your club car? Does your club car have a tow run switch under the seat, and what year is it? That's all you're going to need to know. You either have a region club car or you have a series club car. So that's all you're going to need to know. We'll have a motor for either one that would be faster than your normal. All right, let's see, number 16. This is from Neil. Hi Tim, I'm chasing a controller for an EZGO RXV 2010, either new or refurbished. I have a 2010 EZGO RXV and we have an intermittent fault. Neil, could very well be the controller. And I looked, and if you have there's a couple of controllers you could have. If you have a Danaher, I believe is how you pronounce it, Danaher controller, and just say it on there, then we do have a rebuilt option for Danaher, but right now it's out of stock at Golf Cart Garage. That one's out of stock. Now, if you have a Curtis controller, then we have a brand new option in the 𝗵𝐵𝑑𝑠 line, of controllers, the green ones. So check, you might have to check, go to Golf Cart Garage and check for availability for a controller for your car, because a lot of things are out of stock. We're still trying to get things worked out with that. Number 17. How do you remove an existing LED headlight from an EZGO golf cart before installing a new one? I've seen headlights that mount, there's just depending on the manufacturer of the headlight itself, there's a lot of different ways that they mount. Some of them just have little metal tabs that fold around and hold it in place on the plastic body. Some of them are screwed in from the front. You might have to get up under the cart a little bit, then look under there and figure out how it's mounted, because the different ones they're mounted all different. But it should be really easy to figure out how to remove it if you just look at it long enough. Sometimes that's what it takes, just looking at something for a while. Let's see. Number 18 is from Ted. How do I install an emblem? I do not have any old hardware for an EZGO TXT 96 to 2013. That's a very good question, Ted. I've been through that same exact scenario many times, and I know what you're talking about, because the EZGO emblem on the front, it's got these little bitty these nuts on the back of it, but there are really only like one-time use nuts. Like when you take them off, they're almost ruined. They're little thin metal. And then you got to figure out how to put the emblem back on when you do a body change. The best thing I've found is heavy-duty, double-sided red tape. The tape's not red. The tape's actually gray, but the film you pull off of it is red. It's 3M. Comes from 3M. You can get it anywhere in the automotive section, but it's how they install all kinds of different emblems on automobiles and everything, and like trim pieces, they're installed, and you can cut it. You can cut it to shape. You don't have to cover the entire back of the emblem, because it sticks very well. Use alcohol as a prep in the spot where you're going to put the emblem back, but you don't even need those nuts anymore. You put that double-sided tape on there and press it in there, and it's done, and you'll never have to worry about it again. Number 19. This is from Brett. Can the Madjax Clay Basket for a Club Car Precedent be installed if I have a fold-down windshield, and can the windshield still be used, raised and lowered? Well, since I read this question earlier, and since I don't have a Club Car Precedent with a Madjax Clay Basket, let me tell you what I did. I went to the Google, and in the search bar, I plugged in Madjax Clay Basket, and then a bunch of stuff came up, and then I clicked on images. And if you'll do that, you'll see images of Madjax Clay Basket mounted on several different golf cars. On the very first page, there were several images of it mounted on a Precedent with a fold-down windshield. Because I understand what your question is. You want to make sure it's still operational and doesn't hit the basket. Well, there's pictures all over of Precedents with that Madjax Clay Basket with a fold-down windshield. So the answer, from what I can see, the answer is yes. It'll work just fine. But apparently, they've moved the basket far enough away to where you can still fold your window down. Okay, number 20. This is from Ronald. Will the golf cart rear seat bag attachment, 4 persons on cart, work on a grab bar that is 9 inches wide and round tubing instead of square. I don't see why it wouldn't, Ronald, because it's a real simple, the golf cart bag attachment is a real simple device. It's not a complicated thing. It just slides over the grab bar. The grab bar is actually what holds it in place, once it's down there. So whether it's round or square tubing shouldn't make a difference. 9 inches wide is fine because it accepts grab bars up to 14 inches wide, the one that we sell. So I don't see why it wouldn't, Ronald. So let's see. That's going to be it for the regular questions. Let's go over here to Facebook and YouTube, see if we can see anything going on. Nothing on Facebook. Let me look at YouTube, see what we got. No, doesn't look like we have anything. All right. Don't forget to go to golfcartgarage.com. Check out the Extreme Golf Cart Makeover Season 2 that Dave is doing. I'm sure you're familiar with Dave's videos. He's got some good stuff going on there where you can win some prizes and stuff. So look for this logo on golfcartgarage.com. Click on that for more info about how you can win some prizes and enter to win. Also remember, if you feel like you need to speak with me about any golf cart issue that you may be having, click on the link in the description. There's a link that takes you to Gearheads on Demand. It's going to take you to this page on our website when you click on that link. And on this page, you'll be able to schedule either a phone call with me where I will call you. You just leave your phone number and your name and I'll call you. Or if you think it's something I need to see, you can set up a video session on this same page. You'll see you can either schedule a phone call or a video session. Now the video session is not as complicated as it sounds. What's going to happen is I'm going to send a link to your phone. I'm going to send at the time that you specify. You'll get a link on your phone, and all you do is click the link, and then I can see out of your camera whatever you're pointing at. So I can see your golf cart or whatever your problem is. Not all golf cart problems need to be, need that, but there's some of them that it helps me a little bit sometimes when I can see what you're talking about. So just remember that. Go to the link in the description, and it will bring you to that logo and schedule your appointment. Let's see. Let me check YouTube and Facebook one more time, see if there's anything. There's nothing on YouTube. Nothing on Facebook. All right. So I guess that's about it for me this week. We'll be back next week. We'll answer some more questions. Thank everybody for coming. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for coming to watching in the chat. We'll see y'all next week. The garage is now closed.